You've seen these YouTube videos suggesting you might need around 400 million Solent, probably about 5,000 Lucent, and on average 10,000 hours to play each week. Well, I'm a casually homeless dad traveling Scotland in an off-road camper van with my family, and I'm still finding the time to enjoy Throne of Liberty, and I'm here to guide you, fellow casuals, on how to have some fun on the Throne of Liberty expansion. Well, step one is quite simple. Just do not panic. I know the thought of, you know, all the guilds and all the sweats, like pushing ahead, grinding 12 hours a day at the moment to get all these materials, get all the Solent. You know, they've been working on the Lucent for the last few months. And that is extremely daunting going into tier 2 because you know you're going to be behind, right? But in essence, don't worry, you'll get there in your own time, and we've seen that with tier 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple of things that you can do to prepare without putting in, you know, 12 hours a day. You know, just when you're casually having time to play the game, keep these things in mind because it will help you prepare for tier 2. And you don't have to go out your way to do these things. It's just things that you're going to be doing while playing the game already. All right, so let's jump in game and go through the bits we to go through. Okay, so starting off, let's have a look at my inventory and show you what you shouldn't be doing. But yeah, the first thing is materials. What I've been doing is basically stockpiling as much as I possibly can over the last, well, since I've been playing. I haven't been crafting much. I haven't really been blessing stacking, which I'll leave a video in the description below from Crazy, who's put a great video out about that. But I've essentially been just stacking and stashing as many materials as I can. These are going to be used for crafting, upgrading, all sorts of stuff for tier 2. A lot of these can be upgraded from like rare to precious magic powder and things like this, but I've just essentially expanded my storage as much as I possibly can, and just started stacking stuff. Now you don't need to stack fish. I might use these for like the contracts, but what I have been stacking as much as I possibly can is your daily food and veg and stuff as well. So essentially don't threat too much, but just stack and stash as many materials as you possibly can now. And all this advice is going to go from if you're just starting the game as well and you're slowly making your way to tier 2 as you're playing through tier 1, or we can call it the southern and the northern part of the map. So when you start the game, you'll be playing along down here, and when you get into the expansion, it's all going to be this area here. But for now, the first thing to do is start stashing as much materials as you possibly can. Next is going to be your gear. You're going to need roughly I think it's 3,500 as a minimum combat power to do the tier 2 dungeon, to start to engage mostly in the content that exists in the expansion. And most of that is going to come through your gear upgrades. So as you can see here, we're level 9, 99999 across our weapons and our armor. You want to be doing the same with your skills. This will help you raise your combat power and obviously help you become or make your character become better, both your actives and passives. And finally would be your mastery, but this is something that you gain organically while playing. Don't fret too much about this. What I will say is try not to upgrade too many skills that you're not using as much. As you can see on my current build, like Wheel Breaker isn't level 5, but and this particular one, Guillotine, is. If I was to, you know, be pushing the tier 2, I want to be making sure that all of my skills here are ideally level 5, ready for all the content that appears. But as you start to play more, you can see here we've got 5 different like skill setups. And if you're a casual like me, you can't upgrade them all unless you are a bit of a Chad. A next big one is extraction stones and trait unlock stones. A good example of this is I managed to steal oh, they gifted it to me. I got a Queen Belindir's Arc Boss weapon, sword and shield from the guild. Now getting the traits for these is extremely expensive because you're gonna have to go into the auction house, you'll look for your weapons, your sword, and what you'll need to do is purchase another one. If I want debuff duration trait, I have to purchase this at 28,000 Lucent, which is a lot of money, to then put that trait on my weapon. Most of you guys will know this by now, but essentially save as many trait unlock stones as you can, because what you can do is, instead of spending 30,000 on your weapon, you can use these trait unlock stones to unlock the trait that you particularly want on that weapon, and then use other weapons that are cheaper to push that to push those traits up. The next one on the stone sort of situation is these trait unlock stones. Now, I've been saving these for a long time because I haven't really been using them to sort of get the traits out of tier 1 gear, because it's just cheap now. So I've been saving all my trait unlock stones ready for tier 2. So let's say tier 2 drops tomorrow, we go and do a dungeon. From that dungeon I get a green fishing rod with epic fish, epic large fish trait. You would use these trait unlock stones to pull that trait out of there, and then just basically sell it. The long and short of this is just sell everything you possibly can at the start of tier 2, because people are going to be buying that stuff. Get in there, use these trait unlock stones, and just extract and sell and sell and sell. If you are looking to play more competitively, there's a chance that you're going to want to use these traits rather than sell them, but that's just down to you as a player, right? Like, let's assume that you're not crazy bothered about having the best gear and being ahead of the curve. Just sell everything, because you'll be starting to stack up on your Lucent, use for battle passes, for more resources and whatever. But you can then also, once the prices come down, this could, for example, on tier 2 sell for 1,000 Lucent at the start. Whereas if you fast forward 1 month, 2 months, it could be down to like 100. So if you sell it for 1,000, you can then buy 4 traits in a month's time. That is completely a personal situation, but that's what I would definitely suggest you do. It's worth stacking the trait conversion stones as well, because that will help save some money. The next thing you're going to need a lot of, obviously, is Lucent, if you can get as much Lucent as you can by selling early on, but it's going to be Solent. And the reason you go on as much Solent as you can is because upgrading your gear, upgrading basically everything you need, is going to need Solent. But when it comes down to upgrading your gear, once you get towards so your gear's going to go from level 9 to level 12, or at least your tier 2 gear can go up to level 12, excuse me. Once you start getting to level 9, 10, 11, 12, the Solent cost on these is a lot, and the precious weapon growth stones is a lot. So when you start to look into upgrading your blues to your epics, for example here, already we're looking at 2 million, 200,000. The precious magic powder, 1.2 million. And it starts to stack up, and I think the maths has been done that you're going to need somewhere between 200 to 400 million Solent. That typically comes just from playing, doing the content, being here for the daily check-in logins, and you get, so I got 2 million Solent from day 6, for example. Just stuff like that. But start stacking your Solent and stop hard spending once you're got your gear to like level 9. Just take it easy, start saving that up. Again, that is like something that will happen casually and organically. Don't stress too much about that. And finally, my last tip will be your weeklies. So a big part of the game, and there'll be more coming in tier 2, but a big part of the game at the moment is making sure that you have good runes. I am falling behind on this. I didn't hard grind this at the start. I've just been casually making my way up there. But as you can see here, I'm starting to get into the 50s. Yeah, we're nearly there. We've got 50s through to 30s. I've got a bunch of junk down here as well. What you need to be doing actively is your weekly missions. Now, all of these are important, but the most important ones are your dimensional contracts. So if you complete all 3 of these, you're going to get 150 rune boxes, which will look like this. These ones here, 70, 70, 10. And that is the best way to casually get your rune levels up, because at the end of each week, you can pick the 150 box here, or this one, whatever it is, which will just give you a ton of runes, which will organically level them up. You get them also by going to world bosses, PvE, PvP, guild bosses. Make sure you're in a guild doing those on the weekly. your battle pass, all that sort of stuff. But the weekly missions are super important. If you haven't done them yet, for whatever reason, what you need to be doing is going into your carp dungeon and then dimensional trial. If you can get up to level 5 and keep pushing level 5, what you get off level 5 is these chaos runes. But if not, and it's a struggle, just do level 1. Level 1 super easy. Most people will be able to get you through it now, no problem at all. But the chaos runes are these purple ones, which are essentially like max level runes, and you have a chance of getting them dropped at tier 5. So if you can run tier 5, great. If not, just run tier 1. Just do 7 of them a week. You'll get all these runes start to come in. Which, you know, if I open a stack here, you can choose which ones you want. So I can't knock this one. It's just RNG. There you go. We got a lot of junk, but you start to get, you start to get those levels up, which is really nice and important. So we picked up a 56, a 54, then 51, 51, 51. Yeah, you get the idea. There are like other things that you should be thinking about, but that's when you start to really look into kind of the min-max. And I know that there's loads of other YouTube videos out there about exactly what you need to do to be kind of, really ready, that when the expansion drops, you're ready to go. But essentially it'll be time gated as well, so you don't need to threat that you're going to be behind straight away if you're going to play like 3 days a week. There'll be time gated milestones like there was back in the beginning when the game launched, unlocking content periodically throughout time. But yeah, basically I wanted to make this because I'm in a position where I'm not playing every single day anymore, and the guys on the Discord or other players genuinely make you feel like if you don't play for a week, it's just a game design as well, that you're so far behind that there's no point in logging in. There is a point in logging in. The content's really good. We've played it before on KR. There's so much to do. There's so many more dungeons. This is like an open world dungeon. Awesome new town. There's like a dwarven city, for example. There's loads of new arc bosses. This is a pirate ship that spins around. There's some really cool stuff. And the story, again, I was rating the story on the game launch because it's just genuinely made well. Good cutscenes, really engaging, good quests, good side quests. It's just a fucking really well-made game. So if you're not high-end on the, looking to do the high-end PvP, and you're just looking for a game to play, it's actually pretty good. You could log in, play through the story, and just genuinely have a good time doing it, whether you're playing it solo or with like a small group, or you're looking to go into something deep with like that guild, like a larger guild. But yeah, that's just my casual's guide to prepping for tier 2. I know it's coming out a bit late, but again, if you guys are not really ready yet, don't threat when tier 2 drops. Just keep playing as you are, keep thinking about stacking these things that we spoke about here today, and you'll start to prepare yourself for when you can push into this zone. But yeah, I'll be streaming daily on Twitch, so if you've got any questions, feel free to drop in once the expansion drops, and I'll do my best between children distracting us and stuff. But yeah, we'll be streaming daily on Twitch in March when it drops. And yeah, until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.